Good evening and welcome back to Golden Eagles Sports Report.
Tonight, we highlight the biggest events from homecoming weekend, including Marquette Madness, women's volleyball, and both men's and women's soccer.
We will also discuss the latest surroundings, the MLB playoffs, NFL Week 4 takeaways, and more. So get ready, Marquette Nation, because Golden Eagles Sports Report starts right now.
From the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagles Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andrew Muzu.
And I'm Johnny Brooker III.
Before we get started, former Marquette men's basketball star Lazar Hayward was arrested in Hawaii last Tuesday, according to Hawaii News Now.
Hayward was one of the two people accused for uploading false COVID-19 test results in an attempt to avoid state quarantine restrictions.
Shortly after his arrest, Hayward was released pending an investigation.
Hayward ranks third all-time in scoring at Marquette with 1,859 points.
Marquette University hosted its annual homecoming celebration this past weekend, Johnny.
That's right. The university sponsored many events, including arguably its biggest of the weekend, Marquette Madness.
Oh yeah, and students packed the Al McGuire Center Friday night to get their first glimpse of the men's and women's basketball teams. Kylie Getz has more.
It's been over a year since fans and students have been allowed back in the Al McGuire Center. The sound of cheering fans and music made it an exciting weekend to welcome back both men's and women's basketball teams. It was an action-packed night, which included a lot of music, giveaways, as well as a dance-off between the women's basketball, men's basketball, and dance team.
You know, our alums, our fans, our family, our friends back in just as kind of a kickoff to really just a couple days of practice. It's pretty exciting just to know basketball season's right around the corner. Just it was great to see the kids smiling, having fun, just to start the season.
During the festivities, the men's basketball team held a dunk contest. First year, 6'9", Kian Itijere threw it down and took home the crown.
The biggest thing is just being back around some fans and students, you know, just a different type of energy that comes from students. Being at Marquette, obviously there's a passion here for basketball.
While both coaches are eager to kick off the season, they are also looking forward to their tough competition.
Got some good matchups here, so looking forward to, you know, getting going and thankfully we got some practice in between.
Reporting from the Al McGuire Center, I'm Kylie Getz, Marquette Wire Sports.
And with that, we now want to welcome Executive Sports Editor John Leuzzi and Sports Audio Producer Matt Yazel to talk about all things Marquette basketball. First off, you were all in attendance Friday night covering Marquette Madness. What was the best part, John? We'll start with you. Did it live up to the hype?
It didn't live up to hype to its full, in my eyes, Andrew, mainly because there wasn't a lot of fans inside the upper deck of the Al McGuire Center. Now, it was loud and it was proud. Marquette Nation was loud for its teams as it was the first time they got to see them this year. That was my favorite part. Seeing the Marquette men's and women's basketball teams for the first time this season, knowing there's a lot of questions, specifically with the men's team. A lot of new faces, 9 new players, an entire new coaching staff. So it was our first glimpse on that. But for the women's side, it was just seeing the team that has been winning here on campus. And they got some big parts they were added as well.
Matt, what was your favorite part?
Well, my favorite part was easily the dunk contest, I think. That's what, look, I agree with John about the crowd a little bit, but it was still a lot of people there celebrating the start of a new basketball season. But that dunk contest got them going. And as you saw in the package there, Itijere is done. I mean, brought the house down.
The cradle.
An easy 10 from all three of
us.
us.
Oh my gosh, Vince Carter-esque.
360.
Oh, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. I thought the skills contests were great. Yeah. I thought there was a lot of good stuff to hype up the crowd and get. I liked what the coaches had to say on the mic. So it was overall a good start to a basketball season.
Yeah, and we'll keep it here with you, Matt. We're looking forward to the men's team. The Big East released the conference schedule just over 2 weeks ago. What marquee matchups do you have circled on your calendar?
So right away to start in the conference season, they've got their first 2 home games in conference. The first one against UConn, who was a great team last year, a bit of a surprise, and now expected to be even better next year. And then New Year's Day against Creighton, who was a team that Marquette picked up a big win last year against in Omaha, but then struggled at home. UConn was a team they could have beat last year, but struggled against. So those are 2 big home games right away. And then later in the season, you've got National Marquette Day really late in the year in February on a Saturday this year against Butler. So that's obviously a big day here on this campus, a holiday, of course. And then one more game I want to mention is at DePaul, their last road game. I feel like Marquette fans always kind of look over the DePaul games. But I'm a senior, and in my 4 years here, Marquette has kind of struggled with DePaul.
Oh, yeah, tell me about it.
More so than they really should have. Obviously, new team this year, of course. But that game is not one to overlook down there in Chicago. So that being their final road game, you got to try to finish the season strong. So I'm looking at those games in this conference schedule.
And people do tend to look over DePaul. They'll hang in there with you and might surprise you as well. Moving over to the women, they released their conference schedule this week. What games do you have scheduled? What do you have your eyes on?
Well, obviously, Marquette, they're going to have UConn and DePaul circled, knowing that those are the 2 powerhouse teams that they're going to face twice a season. I'm going to stay away from that for right now and talk about 3 teams, Andrew. That is Seton Hall, St. John's, and Villanova. The teams, in my opinion, are right in the middle of the pack. They're on the verge of being the top 3 team in the Big East Conference. Specifically in the Duffy era, which is now in year 3, Seton Hall has been a team that Marquette has struggled with, especially on the road. So Marquette's first Big East road game will be December 19th at Walsh Gymnasium against the Pirates. So that's going to be a big test. They haven't won that game in 2 years. Against St. John's and Villanova, they've done very well under head coach Megan Duffy. So those are the 2 ones. If they want to get all 3, those are going to be big 6 wins if they want to finish in the top 3, but even in the top 2, right where they finished last year.
And you said Villanova. Marquette has to beat Villanova.
They have to.
Those are the rivals right there. You have to beat them. And as always, John and Matt, thank you so much for coming on. When we get back, we'll be updating you on Marquette men's and women's soccer along with the volleyball team. So don't go anywhere because GESR will be right back.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
And welcome back to Golden Eagles Sports Report. Once again, I'm Johnny Brooker III.
And I'm Andrew Amuzu.
Marquette Madness wasn't the only event going on around campus this past weekend. In addition to homecoming celebrations, the women's volleyball team and both the men's and women's soccer teams hosted matches over the weekend.
The volleyball team opened up the action Friday night playing its Big East home opener against UConn.
Yeah, redshirt first-year middle blocker Carson Murray tallied 9 kills and 4 blocks in the match, leading the squad to a 3-1 victory. Kristen Parisi has the story.
It was a wild atmosphere at the Al McGuire Center on Friday night. The women's volleyball team was set to go up against the UConn Huskies, and playing right before Marquette Madness, the women were excited to have the Marquette faithful right by their side.
I thought that the crowd was going to be great, and that's what happened.
In the opening set, both teams came out firing as it was neck and neck until the final point. Marquette was able to secure the first set victory, but that did not stop the UConn Huskies. UConn came out with a purpose and took the second set right from under the Golden Eagles 25-12. The third set started out all UConn until graduate student Hope Rich tallied 3 straight kills to lead the Golden Eagles on a 6-0 run and the eventual third set victory. From there, the Golden Eagles pumped the gas and never looked back in the fourth set, going on 6- and 10-point runs respectively to cruise to a victory and the match win in what was an aggressive fight.
And it was a good fight. UConn, brought some diversity, and we fought back, and it was a really fun match.
One of the keys to winning the fourth set was first-year defensive specialist Jaden Garrison, who found herself going on a 5-0 run in the fourth set and caught the eye of head coach Ryan Tice.
She's a great server, and we try and say, at practice, we've got to get her in each set at some point to serve a ball, because she can also defend it behind there pretty well.
This victory puts the Golden Eagles at 3-0 on conference play, and they will look for another conference victory when they travel to DePaul to play the Blue Demons on Sunday at 3 p.m. Reporting from the Al McGuire Center, I'm Kristen Parisi, Marquette Wire Sports.
And the Golden Eagles played again Sunday at DePaul, where they snagged a win in straight sets. They now have a 13-2 record overall and remain undefeated in conference play.
Well, switching gears to soccer, there was plenty of action down at Valley Fields as both the men's and the women's teams welcome in Big East opponents.
And starting with the men's team, the squad took on the Providence Friars Saturday night.
Redshirt juniors Zion Undrog and Lucas Sunason each found the back of the net in the match, giving the Golden Eagles a 2-0 cushion in the second half.
Oh yeah, and as the game neared the 90th minute, it seemed all but certain that Marquette would secure the victory. But as Molly Gretzlock reports, that wasn't the case.
With rain coming down and kids running with energy and excitement across the field, the tone of Saturday night's Big East showdown between the Marquette men's soccer team and Providence was bound to be full of aggressiveness. However, the Golden Eagles did not come out with a win or loss, ending in a 2-2 draw. The first half ended scoreless, but was nothing less of eventful. Head coach Louis Bennett said that during halftime, changes were made.
We started to get a piece of the game in our favor a little bit, but we couldn't create any chances. We made a few adjustments at halftime, and it went as planned.
Redshirt junior Zion Andrade came out of the half wasting no time, scoring the first goal of the night, assisted by redshirt junior Lucas Sunason.
They come together.
Marquette kept Providence out of the net for almost all of the second half, and Sunason even gave the Golden Eagles a 2-0 cushion with less than 5 minutes left in regulation. But that cheering soon ended as the Friars scored 2 goals to send the match into overtime.
We've been wanting a clean sheet for so long now, and I felt like we deserved it. And then to let 2 in the last 5 minutes is just disappointing. And
despite critical saves from Marquette's defense and redshirt junior goalie Chandler Hallwood, Marquette was not able to connect with the net in double overtime, walking away with their first tie of the season. The Golden Eagles will now look ahead to Wednesday as they prepare for Xavier coming into town.
We'll sew up our wounds of this and look at the positives.
Reporting from Valley Fields, I'm Molly Gretzlock, Marquette Wire Sports.
The weekend ended on a brighter note, however, as head coach Frank Pelaez and the women's soccer team took the field Sunday for a match against Seton Hall.
In an afternoon filled with special guests in attendance, Marquette earned a 1-0 victory. This is the team's third consecutive Big East win.
Yeah, the lone goal of the match came from redshirt sophomore midfielder Haley Block, which was her first of the season. Tyler Peters has the story.
Some of the many alumni,
children, and furry fans. All were in attendance for the Marquette women's soccer team's Sunday matinee against Seton Hall.
It's a Sunday, man. I told you Sundays are a grind. Every coach in the country will tell you that, and the kids found a way to grind today.
Despite several scoring opportunities from both sides, the two Big East rivals were stuck in a deadlock up until the midway point through the second half. In the 69th minute, redshirt midfielder Haley Block buries a pass from Elsie Twombly to score her first goal of the season.
It's really exciting. I like that the alumni are here today too, so we were able to put smiles on their faces. This season's the first time playing on Valley for me, so to have them out watching the games and being in the stands has been beyond fantastic.
It was all the offense the Golden Eagles would need, topping off homecoming weekend with a 1-0 victory.
We go, it's so cliche to say one game at a time, and it is one game, one practice. But we're going to play hard defense. All day and every day, we're going to play hard defense because that creates good scoring opportunities.
After the match, Pelaez reflected on the former players who came out to support the team.
It's the only reason I do what I do. For the people that helped me through my process, this win is for them.
Marquette takes a 3-game winning streak out on the road this week with its next match against UConn on Thursday. Reporting from Valley Fields, I'm Tyler Peters, Marquette Wire Sports.
And now you know what time it is, Johnny. October is officially upon us, which means the MLB postseason is here. We'll talk all about that and more, so keep it here after the break.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown, and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove.
You told me not to do drugs.
You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
And we're back in Studio 7 as we will talk the beginning of the MLB postseason and the biggest takeaways and surprises from Week 4 in the NFL. Joining me on the panel tonight is the staple, Matt Yazel, Kristen Parisi, and in his debut we have Aiden Haddon. Let's get it started. So, over the weekend, the MLB concluded the regular season in dramatic fashion as 2 spots were left to fill for postseason play. What were your reactions from the weekend finale? Matt, we'll start with you.
Yeah, it was an action-packed Sunday, of course, with football, but it was baseball season. It's been a great month of September overall, and of course, it all came down to the last day. I was most interested in the AL wildcard race. The Toronto Blue Jays, a very fun team, very young team with a lot of power hitters, were fighting for a playoff spot, and then the Seattle Mariners, of course, trying to end a 20-year playoff drought. It was really fun to watch their games. Neither of those teams are in this bracket, of course, but it was really fun to watch, and it kind of shows how the wild card, having 2 wild card teams play in a single game, it was really a great decision by baseball to get more teams involved and to create more excitement towards the end of the season.
Yeah, nothing better than having to wait until the very last day to get those postseason clinches, but I don't know, man. I had to bring it out tonight because they're playing as we speak.
Oh, gosh.
Who surprised me most? The Yankees.
No, it's backwards. It was backwards. All right, there we go.
There we go. Oh, yeah. I can't tell you what I was most excited about by that team, but they just showed out. I mean, Stanton had a 4-game streak where he hit a home run in every single game. They blew out Boston in their 3-game series. They took 2 of 3 from the Toronto, but then they lost 2 of 3 to Tampa Bay. So obviously that shows you how legit Tampa Bay is, but also Seattle. That was so fun to watch. Even though they're in the AL and they were competing for one of the spots that the Yankees took, it was just so fun to see them get so close. I mean, they have, a 20-year playoff drought that they almost struck in. So it was fun to watch. I mean, the only part of baseball you were watching was the AL wildcard race because that was the only one that mattered. And I thought it was a good time. And my biggest takeaway is that the Yankees are coming in ready. Aaron Judge, he meant business having that walk-off single. So I don't know. Tonight, right now, it's going to be fun. I'm all in.
You got number 2 on the jersey. They might be number 2 tonight. I don't know. Aiden, what you think?
They got the GOAT in the house, so can't go wrong with the GOAT.
About that.
Well, Andrew, my fandom certainly hopes so that the Yankees finish number 2 in the wild card race. But let's flip it to the NL to get rid of my disgust for seeing the jersey tonight.
Don't hate it. Don't be salty.
How about that NL West race? We saw the San Francisco Giants and the LA Dodgers finish with north of 105 wins. The Giants ultimately winning it at 107 and the Dodgers coming in just short at 106. We may have seen the greatest wild card team to come since that second wild card expanded in 2012. That LA Dodger team, you better watch out for.
And who would have thought the San Francisco Giants of all teams would have coming into this season with 107
last? Or down there? They were supposed to be
nowhere near the
type
Dodgers and Padres in that division coming into the year for sure. And they came out of nowhere.
Also a surprise, the Orioles. Can we talk about the Orioles? They were the reason we had so much drama in the AL wild card. Who would have thought they would have beat out Boston that bad?
I think what was crazy, we saw that bracket up there. Last year was completely different. It seemed like every team made the playoffs, and now we have this. So anyway, looking ahead to the postseason, there are some new faces, but also some regulars looking to win the chip. What are some of the best matchups, and who do you think is going to win it all? I'll start with you, Kristen.
Well, as much as I love the Yankees, I think they're winning tonight, and then they're going to go to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, they showed in that 3-game series that they can mean business. Jordan Montgomery was nowhere to be found on Saturday when we played them. And then they showed up on Sunday, but I don't know. The Rays are just so hot right now. They have an awesome bullpen. If they keep that bullpen going, I don't think that anyone in the AL or in the NL has a chance. I mean, I have the Dodgers going also because their bullpen is awesome. I mean, although Clayton Kershaw is out for the playoffs, Matt.
He is out for the entire playoffs.
That's gonna be a tough road for them. But I think it's gonna be Dodgers, Rays taking it all.
All right.
Rematch from last year.
A rematch.
Yeah, rematch.
All right,
but
Matt.
this time the Dodgers won't repeat.
All right, so I'll focus on the hometown team here, the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm very excited about that potential AL East matchup next round, and the Dodgers' first series against potentially the Giants as well. But I'll focus on the hometown Brewers and tell you why they're going to win the World Series, and it's because of their starting rotation. You talked about bullpen, Kristen. Bullpen is very important in the playoffs, but I would argue starting rotation is even more important because, look, if you got the 2018 Brewers that went to the NLCS, they had a great bullpen, but, they didn't have a good rotation. Our number 5 starter this year would probably have been our ace in 2018. That was a bad rotation, and it put them in bad spots. They went down in games. The bullpen doesn't mean a whole lot if you're down in games. Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta, Adrian Hauser, these guys have been fantastic all year. They've had their innings limited. They've been preparing for this all year. And Corbin Burns, Cy Young candidate going in game 1. I have so much faith in this pitching staff as a whole. And when you get a lead, you got Josh Hader at the end of the bullpen having his best season of his career. And you got enough offense to get it done with guys like Willie Adames, Eduardo Escobar, who's come in and had a great year. We're hoping for Christian Yelich to find it again and have a bit of a run in these playoffs. He hasn't been Christian Yelich that we saw back in 2018. We're hoping he finds it, and if he does, then look out, because this team is very good top to bottom. Losing Devin Williams hurt in the bullpen, to your point about bullpen. That
stupid.
I completely agree. I could talk forever about how angry I am with Devin Williams. But they have great bullpen pitchers outside of Hader as well, and I have a lot of confidence in this pitching staff.
Whew, Matt had a lot to say about that one. We'll see about the Brewers, though.
He better love Wisconsin because
I could give more if you want.
The Packers are not taking it home this year, so this is their last chance at a championship.
That's the next segment. Aiden, we want to get to you.
We'll get to the NFL in a minute, but I'd wholeheartedly agree with Matt about the philosophy of pitching once you get to October. The starting rotation is so important, and that's why I love this LA Dodger team. Max Scherzer and Walker Buehler are arguably one of the greatest starters that we've seen in baseball this year. Maybe 1 and 2 if you're rooting for the blue and white. So you have those 1-2 starters, Max Scherzer and Walker Buehler, to start a series potentially against the San Francisco Giants up if they win this wildcard game coming up. But I love that team. I love their pitching. And I think they're somewhat of a dark horse coming out of that wildcard round.
A dark horse?
You think the San Francisco Giants are a dark horse?
Well, I would have to.
I was going to say no.
I would have to agree with Aiden, though. I do have the Dodgers as well. They are one talented team. And you were just talking about just their starting pitching from top to bottom. You were talking about the Brewers top to bottom. I think the Dodgers top to bottom. They could go back to back. We'll have to see. But moving on to football, week 4 was full of surprises and upsets. Some teams got their first win. Others suffered their first loss. Who surprised you the most this weekend, and what lies ahead going into week 5? Aiden, we'll start with you.
Well, I'll give you a pleasant surprise, and I'll give you a disappointment from week 4. The biggest pleasant surprise I love this weekend was out at SoFi Stadium with the Arizona Cardinals. They absolutely dismantled the LA Rams on Saturday. Kyler Murray, if he's not leading the MVP conversation, he should undoubtedly be in it. The Rams last week obviously took down the reigning Super Bowl champion Buccaneers, who unfortunately took down my Patriots this weekend. But back to those Cardinals. Kyler Murray, he's making plays that we've never seen before at his height and at his weight. He absolutely ran past Aaron Donald as well. So I love the Cardinals. Disappointment, I love the Tennessee Titans. What did they do this weekend, Kristen?
No, they didn't do protect Ryan Tannehill, because the Jets, the New York, my favorite team, sacked Ryan Tannehill 7 times. 7.
Oh my God.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 14 QB hits.
You forgot how to count now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I didn't.
Yeah?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're
6,
counting
7.
out loud. That's what I'm saying.
So, Quincy and Quinnen Williams, first brother duo to have a sack at the same team in the same game.
Very nice.
But also, Zach Wilson. That offensive line usually gives up 3, 4, 5, 6 sacks a game. They didn't this time. Zach Wilson had time to throw. And with that time to throw, he found Corey Davis for a 57-yard bomb. He found Keelan Cole. He found Corey Davis again. Corey Davis is having problems with his butterfingers, but he got that fixed. He got He got his redemption. The Tennessee Titans didn't want to re-sign him. But also, as we said, pleasant surprise, the Cardinals. I mean, the Rams are a Super Bowl contender. So that was a surprise. Disappointment. I'd have to go with the Detroit Lions. I really thought they were going to. I thought they were going to hold their own against the Bears. You've seen how Matt Nagy's been called.
We're talking about the Jets and Lions. We need Matt to talk.
The D in Detroit stands for disappointment. Okay.
They are disappointment, but they came off such a great win. I mean, almost win against the Ravens. Justin Tucker had to save them.
But this is going to be an exciting week 5. But we're going to have to wait for that. But nevertheless, thank you guys so much for this great discussion. Aiden, welcome to the show. We're about out of time right now, but be sure to tune in next week for all our coverage of Marquette sports and more. For Johnny Brooker, I'm Andrew Muzu. Good night, Marquette.